Hello and welcome. My name is Gabriel, and today I am going to be discussing books 11 and 12 of War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. If this is your first time on my channel, please go watch literally any other video because this one is going to be a disaster, and it's also very niche. We are talking about a very specific section of a very specific book, and the clips are all over the place. I will link some others down below. And then those of you who are joining me for the book club, hello again. We are pushing along on this journey together. We have finally made it kind of into the end game now. This discussion video is a bit of a disaster because I filmed the first half of the clips on the road. It was like a road trip vlog as I listened to the audiobook while I was driving from Indiana to Utah. And then I'm going to be filming my discussion of book 12 right now. So I'm going to send you to watch those clips from a week ago, and then I will see you in a minute. Hello, I have stopped for gas somewhere between St. Louis and Kansas City. I have been listening to War and Peace for like the last 30 minutes. We're just getting into book 11. And Tolstoy right now is just really hammering in this idea that he has that history is not made by the decisions of great men and generals or even individual soldiers, but by the collective will of humanity, and that nobody can predict the outcome of a battle, and you can't even make any retroactive statements about a battle because so many tiny, like, minuscule details had to come together for the exact outcome that did happen to have happened, and that if you look at the smaller portion of a big picture, you can draw any conclusion you want. So I think that's a really interesting idea. So what's happening is I'm listening further into book 11, and we've reached one of my favorite parts in the book, which is just the little diversion from the Moscow plot to talk about Helene and her escapades up in Petersburg. So I'm obsessed with Helene. I think she's a genius. I think that she is living her hot girl life. In this section, of course, she has like the love triangle between these two suitors who have both proposed to her, and she is married to Pierre, but I'm obsessed with the fact that even though she's married, she spun the situation so perfectly that everybody in Petersburg is just like, ooh, who is she gonna pick to marry? Even though they all know that she's Pierre's wife. And we haven't gotten to the part where she just dies yet, but I think that's one of the funniest and most horrible things in this book, is the fact that Tolstoy kills her so that Pierre is free to flirt with Natasha. Good Lord. I want an entire, like, Great Comet style musical just about Helene and her escapades in Petersburg. We're getting really close to the burning of Moscow, which I remember being one of the very best parts of the book. And that's funny to me because usually I hate reading battle scenes, and I've realized why I like the burning of the city so much, and it's because this is a scene where like the horrors of war affects like individual everyday people, and especially like the characters that we know and love. And the only battle scene that isn't the burning of Moscow that I enjoyed reading was the Battle of Borodino, and it's for the exact same reason, because Pierre was just there like wandering around like, whoa, look at this. Hi again. My mouth is bright red because I have been eating some hot Cheetos for dinner. We're about 40 miles out of Lincoln, Nebraska, and I've been listening to more of book 11, and I just wanted to talk about what an amazing scene it is for the Rostov family when they are packing up their things and when they're debating whether or not to use their carts for the wounded soldiers. Because this really shows like what is best about this book, and that is the intersection between like family life and the Russian social world and wealth, and what happens to all of that when it's faced with something as incomprehensible as war. You know, you have Madame Rostov, who is thinking mainly about her children's lives and their futures and their fortune and what they are going and what the rest of their lives are going to be like in society if they lose this house and these belongings and all of their money. And yet that's such a heartless thing to be prioritizing when there are literally like countless wounded men in your yard who need to be on your carts, otherwise they will die. That's just an incredible scene to read. Also, I love Natasha in this entire section. First, she is finding like a purpose packing for her family, deciding what's valuable and what isn't and what needs to come with them. And then her being the main voice of reason, really, arguing to save the soldiers' lives. This scene shows some growth in Natasha, but more than that, it shows what is so fundamentally incredible about her character, which is just this overwhelming love that she has for other people. And earlier in the book, we've seen that manifest in her like desire to love other people and to be loved in return. But I think in this section, you can really narrow it down to like a true fascination with human beings and an investment in their lives and their well-being. And I really appreciate how intensely she fights to save these soldiers' lives. Let's chat for a minute about the nervous breakdown that Pierre is having in book 11. So he's like convinced himself he's the chosen one who is predestined to kill Napoleon and save Russia. And good on him, but he's embarked on this like suicide mission and he's just losing it. Someone help him. Hey besties. We're still in Wyoming, although we're on the tail end of Wyoming. It's starting to look very Utah-ish. I am 3 hours away from home, and that's all. I'm filming 2 vlogs at once right now. I'm doing my War and Peace discussion video and then also my finals week reading vlog. And it's gonna be very fun for me to sort through the clips and figure out what's supposed to go where. I think this clip is gonna be in the War and Peace one. Once I finish this book, I'm not gonna read it again for like a decade. I've had enough. Because even though book 11 is like one of the best parts, it's also so tedious because we're getting to the part of the book where Tolstoy is just like, fuck it, I'm gonna write a bunch of essays about whatever I want. And so he just has these long, rambling paragraphs, and then he has like metaphors that are funny and clever, but then he just drags them on and on. Like the monkey thing, the monkey putting its paw in a jar, like that's a really clever metaphor for like soldiers taking stuff from Moscow to their own detriment. But then he just kept talking about this stupid monkey for what must have been like 2 full pages of the book. And it drove me bonkers. I stopped at a gas station and I got an energy drink that like, I've never had this much caffeine pumped into me at once. It's like crack in a can. Whee! Okay, so Andrei's on his deathbed and he's talking about something he's been thinking about for a long time, which is like how he wants to feel some kind of overpowering love for all of humanity and every other person around him. And he's going on this big rant about it right now, about how like the ultimate goal of all human life should be to love all of humanity with as much love as some greater power, some creator, as God would love all of humanity. And I just think that's a really neat thing for Andrei to be talking about immediately after I talked about one of the great things about Natasha's character, which is her love for people and every individual person that she meets, this desire to shower them with love and to brighten everybody's world by sharing the love that she has inside of her. When all of our posturing and everything that we've created to be respectable in society is met with something as unthinkably horrific as war, all that we have to hold on to is love for our family and for the people around us and for humanity as a whole, because we have to love humanity if we want to survive times of great tragedy. Okay, this is my last entry on the road. I finished book 11 finally, and I'm pretty close to home, so I'm just gonna listen to music for the rest of the way. Welcome back. Here is where I reveal that I don't have very much to say about book 12 because it was just the falling action after the climax that was book 11. I did take note on the love triangle between Nikolai, Sonia, and Princess Mary because I thought it was really funny and stressful because of course we all love Princess Mary. We are big Princess Mary stans here in this book club and we want her to be happy, and Nikolai seems to be the best option for that. But we also love Sonia and we want Sonia to get the happiness that she deserves. And Nikolai he's just some guy. He can pick either of them, and it'll... I did take note of how much I like it that Princess Mary has joined the Rostov family in their journey. I think she adds a very interesting flavor to the family dynamic throughout the rest of the book. And then the only other thing to really comment on is Prince Andrei and the events leading up to his death. So, on his deathbed, Prince Andrei and Natasha reconnect and rekindle their relationship, and My first thought and what I wanted to believe was that both of these characters have grown enough that maybe they are now able to have the relationship and the romance that they deserve. But that is just not the case because Natasha, well, I want to give Natasha the benefit of the doubt and say that she is ready to love and devote herself to one single person, but I also know that her love for Andre in this moment comes from her desire to take care of him and to seem important to him. And then Andre's newfound love of Natasha is only coming with his newfound love of life, which he has only found because he is dying. He feels that his proximity to death has given him some kind of clarity on the meaning of life. But really, we will never know if he had grown enough as a person to really commit himself to a single relationship because he is dying, and his love for Natasha is really only possible because he knows the end is coming very soon for him. And then he dies, and what else is there to say? I think that the moment where his son sees his dad for the last time is really sad because Andre never cared for the kid. He never really wanted him. And that is really all I have to say for this section. I should have taken better notes. But I am excited just to wrap up on this section and to keep chugging along. We have almost made it, and once we have finished this book, you will be able to go out into the world and tell everyone that you have read War and Peace, and they will say, who cares? But you can maintain that superiority complex. Make sure that you are subscribed both to Kelsey and to me to make sure that you get all of our book club updates and all of our other regularly scheduled content. I will link the War and Peace discussion videos down below in a playlist just in case you missed any. And that's all I have to say. Comment your thoughts on this section. Comment what you are excited about coming up in the book. Comment whatever you like. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.